Hello and welcome to this battle report for day 3 of Airecon 2018. Sean and I are back on Monday morning in Sean's house in Birmingham, and we thought we'd let you know what we got up to on the Sunday at Airecon. Sean, what did we do?
So Ronan, we started off by walking around the halls trying to snaffle some bargains as we tend to do, and the old rule that we set ourselves not to buy too much kind of went out the window a little bit yesterday. Not too bad, not too bad. Right for me.
I was alright. I was one out, one in.
You did. Yeah, you did really well. You only spent a fiver in total, didn't you?
Something like that, yeah. After I sold Pandemic Rising Tide, it went on the bring and buy. I played it a lot. Anyway, what did you
So Natalie had her eye on a Kickstarter that she saw in Essen. I think it was all of 2 years ago, and yeah, it's called Hope, and I think it's by Morphic Games. It's kind of like a 3D representation of a grid, and it's set in space. And she really liked the difference.
Yeah, it is very different. The hexes are 3 different colours, and you travel, I think, through one colour at a time, and that's a dimension. And it's literally 3 different dimensions you're travelling in.
Yeah,
Looks kind of abstracty,
a bit abstract.
but they've definitely rolled in that theme of space travel, but more. It's not like you're just dotting along a board and finding things. The movement's more complex.
Really stylish, almost like not timelines, time stories. Get there in the end. It's almost like time stories in the kind of stylized feel to it.
Yeah,
not in the game itself, but like just the art and the way it's laid out. The box, however, we'll talk about the box, Ronan.
It turned out to be a battle game. You versus the box.
It turned out to be an escape room. Try and get the box to escape its lid.
That's a funny old system.
A really weird sleeve.
My game!
I had to get the hilt of a knife and literally bang it through there. There was a little hole in the one side of the box, bang through to get it to slide out.
And you tore it, don't get that.
And I tore it.
So, okay, strange box choice. I think, was it a Kickstarter stretch goal or something? Weird choice.
Yeah,
the game looks really interesting. What did I pick up? I picked up Roundhouse from Emperor S4.
You've been after that for a while, haven't you?
I've been after it. I saw it at the Essen it came out. It's kind of a dry Euro with a circular movement aspect going on. And I think it will suit Rachel will like it. I think you'll like it. Natty will like it. I quite like a dry Euro. I think it'll suit our group. It's within our wheelhouse, or within our roundhouse maybe. So it was a decent copy. I got a few quid off, and it was just enough down that I was like, "Go on then," because I haven't bought anything.
And last up is a game from my boy. I always tend to forget him something when I go away for a long time. And it was Bingo Bingo.
Bingo Bingo,
which Ronan knows and loves. It sounds like complete chaos, but fun chaos when you're running around shooting at things. There's a CD playing with timer and tells you what to go and do. So James is going to love it. It's probably going to kill me. Natalie's 8 months pregnant, so she's not going to be doing much.
It's a great game. Bit of a weird budget.
The boy will love it. That's the main thing. So I think that's it for our purchases, Ronan.
That was it. And then the first game was the game that we had scheduled for the day. In fact, we've been talking about it all weekend, getting together to play a 3-player skirmish game of Mythic Battles Pantheon. I wasn't sure about a 3-player skirmish before trying it. Sean, how'd it go?
I think it went fantastically well. I think it was better than the 2-player, which we really enjoyed our first 2-player game. And
it felt like our first proper game though, because we were so inept in the 2-player game.
Oh, we were terrible. We were still a bit inept in yesterday's, but
not as nearly as much.
We were getting there, but anyway.
We were remembering to use talents. We were remembering to use powers. We were remembering the train effects. Mostly, like there was a few.
To be fair, Sam was there to nudge us. So
that's true. So Sam Hoffman was the third person we played with.
And yeah, so I'm not happy.
Can you expand on that, or just move on?
I'll expand. Okay, so in my mind, I played pretty much the perfect game apart from dice rolling, which you obviously can't.
So there's 2 win conditions in the game. You either take out everyone else's gods, deities, so in our case the other 2, or there are onfloss on there. In a 3-player game, there's 10 onfloss, and if you collect 4 of them, absorb them, they have to be absorbed by your god, you win. So it always seems like an onfloss victory is more likely. I don't know. Sam hedged off half the board. I ended up charging into the middle to mitigate because Sam had Medusa in there and Hercules who was starting to wreck. So I had Ares and Achilles, and I had some high damage. So I kind of fired in, and Sam and I ended up fighting. But you manipulated that situation.
Well, what I did was I had a character who only cost me 2 points because you're drafting these characters in at the beginning of the game. So I knew sending her in to attack Sam would mean that once he kills her off, do a bit of damage to him, and then he would kill her off fairly quickly. Then he would kind of think bad if he keeps attacking me, because I thought he'd attack you next, and that worked. To balance it off. I've attacked you, and I've killed one of these characters, so now I'm going to attack Ronan. That worked nicely. That gave me a chance to get my big unit in, the Hydra, which is, it regenerates, it does area attacks, it's really high, it's a real pain in the bum to get rid of. So I plonked that right in the middle of the board to just occupy all their thoughts and intimidate a little bit and act as a blocker for my guys. Worked a treat.
Yeah. Hydra's, because it regenerates and because it can attack everything around it sometimes, it's hard to know whether to send one person in so that area attack is negated, but then you're not doing enough damage because it's regenerating damage.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or if you try and swamp it, Hydra swamp, it can attack all of yours, so you're really trying to do a rush kill, which is hard in the game, because the units you activate are powered by cards in your hand from your deck, and you can only activate those that you have in your hand. And some of it was really crucial. When you were doing that, Sean got to a position where you collected all the onslaughts you needed, back with Zeus, back in your own little corner. You Euroed Mythic Battles Pantheon, which was disgraceful.
I played a tactical game.
Euroed it, playing a resource game. Okay.
And so essentially, I got all the onslaughts back. I had the cards in my hand that I needed, and everything conspired against me. I had been attacking Ronan's god,
Ares,
and I was doing area attacks. Everything else in the area, I was rolling perfect dice rolls, smashing them to pieces. Every time I rolled against Ares, I'd get blank dice. I must have done that a good few times.
Because it ended up that Ares was getting attacked from both sides.
Yeah, and Sam was doing exactly the same.
And Zeus were attacking him. You think he's in trouble, and they both, for about 5 or 6 attacks in a row,
rolled
but under average.
Nothing, and he was able to heal up.
Tipped down, yeah.
And then I had the cards in my hand. You did not have the cards in your hand.
That's right.
When someone runs out of cards, everyone gets their cards back into their hand.
Get your whole deck you haven't taken gets picked up, and then everyone shoves the discard piles and draws 3 more. So I had loads left in my deck because I was going slower through my cards. I didn't think about why, but I was going slower through my cards than the other guys, and I had 2 rubbish cards in my hand. Sam's deck ran out. Boom! I've got 15 cards in my hand.
So Ronan is able to basically get his god card back into play area.
So Sam, we couldn't get to Sean. We could only be 1 away. So the only units we had that could attack him were Hades and Ares.
That's another one. I blocked the area.
That's right. So we couldn't get in.
With my god, so you couldn't get in because it was a 3 limit, and I put 3 units in there. I thought it all out.
Yeah.
So I thought, I've got a fully healthy Zeus, like King of the Gods.
Yeah.
10 fully health, 10 health, really hard to hit. Sam bowls over with Hades. Has an amazing roll. An amazing roll. He hits me 3 times with 1 attack. Like, in the game we were playing, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
And Ronan bowls over, I got a double attack. I'm thinking, you know what, even if he hits as well as Sam.
And what's the important thing about how badly you'd rolled before? That if I had taken 1 more hit, I'd have had 1 fewer attack because your stats go down as you lose your vitality. I'd have been 1 fewer dice to roll in these 2 attacks, and just on the cusp of going from 8 down to 7.
So of course,
where's this going to go?
You can see where the score is going. Ronan in his 2 attacks manages to get 7 hits. I drop the onslaught, hit on his next turn, he picks up a god card, moves in.
Top deck's the right card, the only card I needed.
And snaffles the onslaught. I played the perfect game. He sat around.
I played the perfect
tickling
game.
Sam.
I was the god of war. I piled in, I did some attacks, and then I killed you when I needed to. You were kind of my stooge. I got you to gather them for me, and then I took you out with perfect
I'm not
tactics.
happy. I'm not happy.
So I won, by the way.
Those dice. I'm going to get them tested.
It was a lot of fun.
It was amazing.
It was longer than 2-player.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like it because you're always involved. You're always looking to see what's going on. You're always sort of planning in your mind, if they do this, I'm going to respond like this.
Yeah, it was. and it felt more balanced because we were saying in 2 player, if one side loses a unit, especially then lose a second one, you can start feeling like, oh, this is going a certain direction.
Yeah.
But with 3 player, you kind of had to balance off then. Whereas where Sean lost at Atalanta early, Sam then had to come after me, otherwise he's going to give me free reign if he carried on attacking you. And that was really good.
So we are reviewing this soon. Let's move on.
Okay, that particular game was brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
We did move on. We played Sanctuary Endangered Species, which came from Cube Factory of Ideas at Essen 2017. Played it with Chris Smarling and Dan Hughes. We did indeed. And it's about, you place meeples for 4 players, a horseshoe of cards. And where you place your meeple, you take the major action where you are, and then there are minor actions on most cards. And any minor actions you can see, you also get to take them. But other people will then place their meeples, and they block your line of sight, if you like. So it's very much spatially where you're going, what actions you want, how much of a risk you want to take. And every turn, this horseshoe of cards changes. And you're trying to get animals into your sanctuary, trying to upgrade your animals, make them happier, collect resources, especially if you're short, which will allow you to trigger effects from cards. They'll say spend resources or have resources in a certain place on your board. Looking to improve your sanctuary with forests and lakes and make it nicer. Deal with threats by if you take certain high profile actions, it causes threat of poachers. You need a ranger to deal with that. So, but all in this very stylized, graphicized cards that the first time the horseshoe gets put out, there's a lot of information to take in. And it's kind of hard to judge where you want to go.
I think certainly for your first game, I think it's really difficult. It's just this sea of icons, just all around you, and you're just like kind of a bit lost. And then as the game progresses, you slowly start to form a path for yourself, don't you? And then you kind of know what you're looking for before it comes out. So that makes it a little bit easier. Really interesting. The blocking aspect of it was really interesting. Because once that fills up, so the way it goes, the first player goes, it goes all the way around, and then the last player has 2 goes, and it goes all the way back. So the first player has carte blanche, but then they've also got that sort of tactical ability just to.
They're the only
that's right, exactly. Yeah. So it was an interesting game, definitely. I need to play it again before I form any real opinions. At the risk of giving Dan some publicity, it felt like this game was broken because Dan absolutely walloped us.
He did. Much to his shock, but more to our shock, really. Like, really? Should I count that again? What was interesting was that it was only 4 rounds for 4 players. I think for 2-3 players it's 6 rounds. And from Chris Marley, who played it before, he was saying that you tend to get to do more when there's 6 rounds. In the 4-round game, you really had to specialise. So that's why I can't really give too much of a judgment, because you couldn't specialise early because you didn't know the game in the first game. But now going into a second game, I'd feel like, okay, what's available? What am I getting? And immediately you got to hit down a certain path and go after it.
You got to know where you're going. This one,
so interested to try it again.
Having said that, Chris finished last, so
don't count him. So interested to try it again. That was Sanctuary Endangered Species. Our third game was
we played
a prototype.
A prototype that's coming out really soon. As we film this, it's coming out on the Wednesday. This is the Monday. It's coming out on the Wednesday, so we are mid-March. And
on Kickstarter.
On Kickstarter, it's coming out. It is Monumental, and it's coming from Funforge.
Funforge, designed by Matthew Dunstan.
Matthew was kind enough to sort of teach us the game and talk us through it. It's essentially a mini Civ game with quite an interesting card selection. So you're going to build a grid of 3x3 of cards, and they're all sort of parts of your civilization, and they give you science, war, or production, and you're bringing cards into your hand. There's a map laid out, and you're exploring the map, attacking barbarians, and eventually attacking each other. And it's kind of a mini Civ game.
Parade of cards that you're taking from are stacks from ancient,
building ancient wonders, and
industrial era,
improving your own civilization with a set number of cards that are unique to yourself. So,
if you are a certain nation, you start with a couple of unique cards in your deck, and then you've got unique cultural advances, which give you one-off bonuses and then an ongoing power. And you choose, and you need to build up culture. And the further you get into the game, more than you have, the more expensive they get, and everything gets more expensive. So you're trying to
So
got
the
built
art
up.
that we saw looked absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
They've got a lot of tweaks to do because some of the font was really small. But Matthew said that's well in hand. A lot of the things that we pointed out while we were playing it, he said, "Yeah, already thought of that.
Yeah.
We got that." So to be honest, it's an interesting game. I enjoyed my play of it, Ronan, and I wouldn't mind playing it again. So it's a thumbs up for me so far
Yeah.
with
It,
Matthew's
it's
design.
a little bit like Sanctuary, but I think that's part of the nation I was. I was Greece, and your cultures and your special buildings give you certain directions to go down. And with Greece, you're flexible, and I didn't get my head around that at all. And then the cultural powers I chose, I needed gold, and I didn't choose enough gold generating buildings. So I played not great at all, but it was a learning game and getting used to it.
Sure.
And what was interesting was that I felt immediately like I could have played that better. I had control over what was going on for myself, and if I played Greece again, I would definitely play them differently. And then there's other nations to explore and look at their powers, and because you choose what order your culture cards come out in, you can generate which way you want to go. Like you came across and started defeating me militarily.
Yes. Yeah.
When early on military, I kind of ignored it because I was like, well, we're not going to get fast enough to score any
Yeah,
points.
I think you do. It's such a quick game. You kind of do have to kind of know exactly, like Sanctuary, as you said. You can know where you're going and know where you're going quick. Because I started off with military, then I kind of waned off it a little bit and started thinking, well, should we do another thing? And I came back strong at the end with military.
Yeah.
But Chris had gone heavy military from the start, so he was eating into my territory while I was eating into yours. So I was losing, gaining as much as I lost.
It was interesting that it started off, you were just running your own little tableau, and I didn't really care what you guys were doing. And then once you got to mid game onwards, you did care what other people were doing.
Yeah.
So there was a lot there to bring you back. So it's on Kickstarter from this Wednesday, which is the 14th of March, maybe?
Yeah, 14th, I believe so.
Okay.
So check it out, it's monumental.
Cool. The second last game we played, we won't talk about this for long, this is just Vikings.
Just Vikings. I think you and Natalie's good books.
I'm not. Well, it was the same thing as happened in Mythic Battles. Going into sixth and final round. So Vikings are Z-Man games where you draft in tiles with coloured meeples on, and different coloured meeples have different effects, and you build up islands, and we reviewed it a million times. So going into last round, I was definitely last. And then I happened to have the absolutely perfect round that I needed, and it was afterwards we were talking about it. It was I got exactly
all the
tiles.
bonuses basically.
I finished the most islands because I happened to get exact tiles I needed. I got joint longest island. We get bonus for that at the end of the game because I got exact tiles I needed. I got the exact number of boat swains I needed to get all the. Because I played so badly before, I had all my vital fishermen that feed and cost you those points. They were sitting waiting to be boated across. And I managed to get a boat. It just worked. Just a treat. I got a win, and it was less likely than the Mythic Battles one.
Yeah, I think Natalie started off like a.
Oh, she was miles ahead.
Yeah, she was miles ahead, and then she didn't finish that long island that she was building, even though she had the opportunity, and that would have been massive.
Yeah, it would have taken me completely out. I just got lucky. I just managed to eke into drawing for bonuses, and you get the same amount of points whether you draw again by yourself. I got lucky.
Yeah, and I did my usual trick of forgetting to actually get points boats that you repel at the top of the board. I just got pure money and.
Yeah. There were no yellow Vikings for so long. Money was tight. Natalie had loads of money, so it felt like we weren't doing that well. But anyway,
it's always a good game.
It's really solid. It's a great game.
And then
we finished off with a new one to us.
We played Ilos.
Yes.
From Boîte de Jeu and Black Rock Games, and this one is kind of you're out in islands in some tropical lands. Yeah, make it up in tropical lands. And it's a card game where you're basically playing cards to move ships around these islands and to attach to these islands. Once you've got ships on the islands, you can start putting people on the islands, and they're going to get you resources. And it's a funny resource system. You put a resource in front of your player screen, and then that every time you finish your go, you're going to get however many of that resource behind you. Generate a production, don't you? And and you're manipulating the cost of them.
Yeah, back in the market.
If you play a market card, you're gonna increase the price of whatever you've got behind your screen. So you're trying to drive that market. You're trying to get as many resources into your behind your screen as possible, and it plays out incredibly quickly, Ronan.
Yeah. It said 35 minutes in the box, but we intended it as a learning game, and 20 minutes maybe for a two-player game.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly, but there was some thought into it.
It was,
for some actions you need to double ship an island to be able to build mines to get gold, which is double of the other resources, or to build certain buildings. Neither of us, you can become pirates. That makes action more expensive for other players. Neither of us went down that route. I think because it was two-player learning, it was almost like tit for tat. So.
I think also the pirate islands came out quite early, and we kind of forgot about them a little bit. I certainly did.
I was thinking about it.
Measure review, isn't it?
So it was a game in which you had lots of flexibility because you drew quite a lot of cards, but a lot of actions cost you cards. So you could almost do what you wanted, but you always felt like you were sacrificing something else to do what you wanted to do.
There was always something reasonable to do.
Yeah.
It was just choosing what to go for.
2 or 3 things.
And if you did have, there was one thing that cost 7 cards but gave you 3 gold, and gold tends to be the most expensive or the most rewarding.
I got gold mines early and drove the price up, and you managed to grab gold from the ruins.
That's right, yeah. And it was a case of
vital,
do I hold on to that and then bring in cards to my next, do a weaker action this turn, heavy action next turn, and then that gives me 3 gold. That actually.
Yeah.
In a 146 point
game,
we were level. And we went down to I had 1 more man on the island.
In fairness, you had 3 more men.
Did I have?
So in a tiebreak win, it was a clear tiebreak win on a 146 point game.
146 point game.
I mean, it's very attractive.
It's beautiful.
And for what it is and for its length, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was one we sat down and said, I don't think it's the deepest game. I think it's the best game I've ever played, but I certainly enjoyed playing it.
With 2 players, not only was there no downtime, there wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time. Someone's turns are so quick that you're just looking at your cards and you're going like, oh, give me a sec. I could see it 3, 4, even 5 players, the downtime being fairly minimal. Yeah,
because you literally, by the time you draw like your 9, 10 cards, you're looking at them and then someone, okay. Ooh.
Yeah, go. So Ilos again. So it's a few first plays today, mostly, but Ilos again made a decent impression for a light, quick game with Euro elements to it.
Well, I can honestly say I didn't play a bad game.
No,
the whole time at Airecon. Yeah, some of it was stacked in our favour because we already knew we liked them, but even prototypes, games that people wanted us to play, everything was of a decent standard.
Good. Well, we were kind of in that good mood where. With gaming, sometimes if you're in a good mood, the game's gonna be fun anyway because we like gaming. So the whole weekend was just we kept going about it, just fantastic, very relaxed, loads of room, airy. It wasn't smelly or hot or too noisy, anything like that. It was lovely atmosphere to game. People were super friendly.
The halls were that whole area just felt light and cheerful.
Yeah, high ceilings, really bright.
And so we just want to extend a big thank you to Mark
and his team,
who did a fantastic job. Weren't intrusive, but were always there if you needed help with anything. And
even the convention centre staff.
They
were kind of walking around, clearing up, tidying chairs, straightening things, unobtrusively. The whole time, just looking after.
But quite interested as well, like from afar. If you did go up to them, they were full of questions.
Yeah.
Like, I saw you playing thing with this big miniature. Like, what was that? Is that an actual game, or is it just something to look at?
You mentioned it yesterday. People from the stands just had time and ability to come out and chat to people and
just really
got to know everyone.
Exactly what I said before we came. I wanted out of this. I just want to go there, enjoy myself, and chill out and relax.
And we did.
I'll tell you what, you won't find a better con to go to.
So, Airecon, thank you very much. We plan on being back next year, hopefully. Harrogate was a lovely town, it was a lovely place. We're just in a very happy place.
We are happy.
Hey, we'll catch you next time.